What's up, guys? Welcome back to my YouTube channel. If you are new to my channel, welcome. My name is Antonia and this is my channel. In today's video, we're gonna be talking about insecurities and egos. Two things that are super uncomfortable to talk about, but that I recently discovered I have both of, and so I'm gonna talk about them. I have been researching the shit out of both of these personality traits because, quite frankly, I don't want to live with them for the rest of my life. And the reason I decided to talk about it today is because I know I'm not alone. I know I'm not the only one out there who's insecure. I know I'm not the only one out there that might have an ego. And I think that the more I talk about it, it not only will help me, but I think anyone out there who's watching that can relate and can pick up a tip or a strategy that you can apply to your life, then I'm happy because we're both sort of like working towards something positive together. You're probably wondering how I came to this conclusion. And if you're somebody who has followed me on Instagram or watched my YouTube intro 2.0, you would already know that I have struggled with this insecurity piece for quite some time now. And you know that I had some major fears and insecurities about going live with this YouTube channel. I started to share quite a bit on Instagram at one point, and I thought that maybe that would help, you know, get me a bit more comfortable with sharing my YouTube channel. But for whatever reason, that piece just never became easier for me. Then I started catching myself like making up all of these excuses, just like tell myself that I didn't know enough to put videos out there, or I didn't know enough about things that I was talking about, or that they weren't perfect, like the videos weren't perfect, they didn't look perfect, or I couldn't actually share things like personal experiences unless I was like an expert in a certain area. So like, for instance, I couldn't talk about fitness unless I was an expert at it, or I couldn't talk about health and like supplements and the things that interest me unless I was an expert at it. I was ridiculous. There was times where I didn't even like let Eris watch the videos that I was making. Like, I would just make them when he wasn't home and I would edit them, and then I would just like file them on my computer. And what a waste of time when you're like actually working on something that you're so passionate about but aren't sharing with anybody. So finally I got fed up with like hearing myself making up these excuses. I got fed up with saying I'm not ready, I'm too scared. I stopped and I asked myself like, okay, what is this really about? What does being insecure actually mean? It's someone who doesn't believe in themselves, someone who is not happy with the way that they might look, someone who doesn't think that they're good enough, someone who compares themselves to other people. I actually read this somewhere and I really loved it because I feel like it just like sums it all up. Being insecure is really just like missing out on the best of life. You don't have to feel all of the things that I just mentioned, but if you feel some of them, then you might actually have your own insecurities. Ask yourself honestly, do you see these things in you? I got that from Ed, my lad. He's always saying that and I love it. He's like, be honest. If you're doing these things, the sooner you realize it, the quicker you can like overcome them. I can personally relate to the majority of that list. At the top of my priority, not priority, at the top of my list is comparing myself to others. I can't even like tell you how many times I catch myself doing this. It's embarrassing because I do it without even knowing that I'm doing it. Like, that's how often I'm doing it. Social media doesn't help. And I mean, as much as I love social media and like the connections that you're able to build through social media, it also can be like a bit negative if you let it. I'll give you guys an example. One of the things that really made me notice this about myself. When I first started sharing and posting some of like my workout videos on my Instagram, I was like so happy with myself. I was so proud of myself for doing it. I thought that I was doing a kick-ass job. I thought my videos were like on point. I thought they added value, and I was just like so thrilled about all of it. Then I decided to start following a few other girls who were out there like doing the same thing. And I think I maybe added like 12 all at once, okay? I found them on social media. I was like, oh, I want to be like surrounded by this content. I want to watch it. I want to be inspired and motivated by it. And I thought that that's what it was going to do for me. And I'm sure it did a little bit of that. But then over time, I realized that it was actually starting to do the opposite and less positive, more negative. One night while I was at home and I was watching this girl's video on Instagram, and I was telling Eris like, oh, look at this video. It looks so professional and the lighting is so great and the way that she's filming it is so awesome, and her hair and makeup look like perfect and she looks so good and she's got a matching outfit and her runners are new. It was all really positive in terms of like, I was kudoing this. Kudoing? Is that even a word? I don't know. Anyways, I was giving kudos to this girl for how good her video was. But just as quickly as I was doing that, all of a sudden I started critiquing my videos, and I was like, oh my God, my videos don't look half as good as that. Like, my lighting is not very good. Maybe I need a new camera. My outfit doesn't match. My runners aren't new. My hair and my makeup aren't done. And I just started like picking myself apart. I literally told Eris, I was like, I can't film another video. I need to go online. I need to order some matching outfits. I need new runners. I just started listing off all of these things that I needed to get and like basically do to myself before I can film another video. Like, I was just so hell-bent that if it didn't look like what this girl's video looked like, it would never work. People would never like it. Nobody would ever watch it. And I have to tell you, this wasn't the first time that I like went down this rabbit hole. There had been many times before then that I'd done the exact same thing. You know, you're comparing yourself to somebody who's been in the game for like so many years, feeling sorry for myself because my stuff didn't look like theirs. Like, it was just like completely insane. So it became very clear to me in that moment that I had this problem of like comparing myself to other people. And listen, I'm not saying that you can't draw motivation and inspiration from these videos or women out there or whoever it is that's posting stuff, because I myself am trying to do the same thing. Like, I want people to draw those things from my videos. So I'm not saying that you can't do that. All I'm saying is that if you're somebody who has a tendency to compare yourself to others, like I do, then you need to deal with that shit first. Otherwise, you're not going to pull anything positive from it. Even if you want to so badly believe that these things are bringing something positive into your life, I guarantee that they're not, until you deal with your own shit and move on from that. So that was my first red flag. The second thing that really stands out to me is that I was always seeking other people's approval. You know, when you post something, this is like the easiest way to explain this. Like, a light bulb went off when I heard this. So you know, when you post something on social media and you expect people to like it or to comment on it, or your best friend to write you a message and be like, good job, or your family and friends to do the same thing, and then maybe some of them don't or one of them doesn't, and your feelings are hurt by that. Well, that's because you somehow need this like validation from somebody else. Like, seeking somebody else's approval is basically like saying you do not believe in your own self. And this was actually one of the reasons too that I realized that I have an ego. And I say, I don't know why, every time I say ego, I just feel like I need to point to my head, because this is where it lives. That's where it lives, right here. So what is an ego? Like, I just pointed to it. It's that part of your brain that cares about what people think. And it's also the part of the brain that makes you feel a certain way, like whether it's good or bad, based on what other people say or think about you. Do you ever remember a time when you maybe did something really good at work and you thought you did a really kick-ass job, but you didn't get recognized for it and your feelings were hurt? Or a time when you, let's say, uploaded something on social media and didn't get as many likes as you thought you should. Or my personal favorite, when you think that everyone around you or the people that you know care or talk about or critique all the things that you're doing as if you're like the center of this universe, and you know, other people don't have anything else better to talk about. All of these things are your ego. I have done all of the above, okay? The social media one, a ton. Like, when I first started posting stuff on social media or on my Instagram, I would always like go in and look at my likes. And then I would even go as far as like looking at who liked them. Like, it matters? Like, why does it matter? Why does that button have anything to do with how I perceive people to like me? It's so stupid. I gain my confidence based on like how many times people like something I post on social media. Like, am I actually doing this? Is this the way that my brain actually functions? Someone with an ego also has an exaggerated sense of self-importance. Like, guilty, right here. Me. Oh my God. And I didn't even know that I was doing this. Like until I read about it, I was like, holy shit. These two patterns, comparing myself to others and seeking people's approval, were like eye openers for me. Once I picked up on the fact that I was doing these things regularly, I was like, okay, this needs to stop. So I went online and I just started researching. I listened to so many podcasts. Here are some key things that I've learned and that I'm personally putting into action to overcome my insecurities and to put my ego in check. First thing I did was identify my insecurities. When for some reason you're not feeling yourself or you're not feeling like the best version of yourself, don't just glaze over it. Really dig deep and ask yourself, like, where is this coming from? Next thing I did, I deleted all of those accounts. And now you might think like, oh, that's just avoiding it. It's not actually really dealing with it. But no, it's not. Because if watching these things, or it could be anything else, like being around somebody that isn't making you feel your best self, like you need to start eliminating these things out of your life, because if they're not helping you get to where you want to go, then there's really no purpose for them being there. It's just putting myself in a space where I can focus on what I'm doing rather than what they're doing. In time, I'll be able to watch this stuff and not compare myself, but for the time being, I need to not be around that. And I don't think that it's running away from it. I think it's just, again, like doing what's best for you. Something else I learned is that perfectionism has so much to do with insecurities and egos. So instead of obsessing over my videos and like what I look like in them and making sure that they like reach that like perfection before I share them, I now tell myself before I post anything that this is all just like a learning process. And I'll never forget it. My best friend Mel said this to me when I like sent her a message about something that I felt super insecure about after I posted a video, and she was like, no, there is no perfectionism in what you're doing. Like this is all new and you're just like learning as you go along. So there is no room for perfectionism. Like perfectionism does not exist in this. But her words have really stuck with me, and that's just what I practice telling myself. Anytime I get inside my head or anytime I'm feeling insecure, I just tell myself, this is all a learning process and I'm doing the best that I possibly can. And guess what? My next video will be better. And the one after that will be even better. So just tell yourself this if ever you're feeling like in a situation like I'm in, you're feeling insecure, if you're not feeling so good about yourself, just tell yourself that every day is a learning experience and every day you're going to get better. And there's no room for perfectionism. There just isn't. Perfectionism does not exist. You need to change your perspective. Insecurities are statements that we've come up with ourselves and have now made ourselves believe. It actually reminds me of something that I learned from Brene Brown. And if you have not watched her Netflix special, you totally should. I will link that down below. She speaks to the fact that like we all make up stories in our head. But basically what I've taken away from her saying that is that like whenever I'm in this rabbit hole and like kind of lost in my own thoughts, my negative thoughts, I stop myself and I'm like, hang on a second. Is this really the way that it is? Or am I just making shit up in my head? Eris is actually also very good at pointing that out to me. He's constantly asking like, is that a story you just made up in your head? I had to like rearrange myself because everything is dying. My camera's dying, my phone is dying, I had to plug everything in. Like when you're comparing yourself to someone who might be doing the same thing as you, the reality of it is that you are naturally two different people. So it would make sense that no two things that are different are going to be the same. Even if you are doing the same thing, everyone brings something different to the table. So while there's been a million videos made up of like insecurities and egos, I am sure of it. I haven't looked because I don't want to look and I don't want to compare myself and I don't want to compare my videos, but I'm sure they're out there. But who cares? I'm bringing something new to the table. We are all different and we need to focus on that. I personally need to do a better job of doing that. And it's not easy. Like it takes practice, but it's so worth it. Like I've been practicing it and I'm not for very long at all. It's only been like, I always say 2 to 3 months because I feel like I've just been on this like long journey of like personal growth. But when it comes to like realizing these things about myself, it really wasn't until like, yeah, I'd say a couple of months ago that I really actually recognized I was doing these things. And ever since then, I've just been, they haven't stopped. I haven't stopped doing them. I'm just recognizing them and sort of like catching them on the spot and then reframing or changing my perspective on things so that they're not negative, they're more positive. Last thing that I'm going to share with you guys and I'm going to leave you with that has helped me so much is just to trust in the moment. This has been huge for me. I had to keep telling myself that I am exactly where I should be, okay? Sitting here on my living room floor, filming this video and feeling really good about it. So trust in the moment. And what that has helped me do is just like appreciate the things that I'm learning every day, appreciate the things that I'm doing, appreciate the fact that like I'm wanting to learn more and, you know, grow as an individual and overcome some of these like obstacles. What this helps me do is really appreciate where I'm at in life, not where I should be or comparing myself to others and where they're at. And that's it, guys. I hope that you guys took something positive away from this. I hope that there was something that you could take away that you could apply into your life. If you can relate to these things, I would love to hear from you. Maybe you've got a tip or a trick that you can share with us or myself. I'm always looking to improve. Leave some comments down below. Give the video a thumbs up. And if you like what you see and don't want to miss another video, make sure that you subscribe to the channel. A new video will be coming soon. And thank you so much for watching, you guys. I'll see you next time. Bye.